Hi guys, welcome to another amazing episode of 22 Podcast where we want to talk about the biggest game this weekend. So yesterday, Manchester City went head to head versus Liverpool, and this game was that kind of game that all football fans live for. You want to watch this kind of games because it's interesting. It's going to promise just this kind of performance that you don't want to miss. High intensity football, the two teams going head to head with each other. But beginning of the game, it was kind of like one-sided. We only saw Manchester City dominating. They were pressing high on the pitch, and I think I was not the only person surprised seeing Akanji taking John Stones' position, that inverted midfielder, extra man in the midfield, defensive midfield, playing as a right back or centre back at the same time. It was very fascinating for me because I don't know Akanji can play that kind of position, but you know the team with Pep can convert any player to play any position. Into this game, my concerns was with Liverpool. Who is going to start up front for them? Is it going to be Darwin Nunes? Is it going to be Gakpo or maybe Jota playing down the middle? You know, Luis Diaz. They have so many players up front, but we know Salah is a constant. He's going to start that match, and their midfield also, Liverpool midfield also is not really convincing for me. We have Shabozlai on the right hand side or on the left hand side sometimes, but McAllister playing as a midfield as a DM is just something that I think it should not be happening every now and then, because week in week out he's just playing as a DM, and I think he can do more. He can offer more to Liverpool if Klopp can just trust Endo. I think it's Endo, the guy they bought from Salzgirt, from Germany. If they can just trust that guy, if he can just trust Endo, put him as a DM, and just allow McAllister to play probably on the left hand side, Shabozla on the right hand side, and Endo in the middle, I think like McAllister will click. He has not really been that star that he was as Brighton, or even during that World Cup when Argentina was playing. You could see how progressive the guy is as a midfielder. You could see how fast he could turn on like when you are trying to play a fast counter, the guy can actually pick a pass. He's a very, very brilliant footballer, and I think there's more to him than playing as a DM. It's just not working for him. I don't know, maybe anybody is seeing another different side of McAllister that I'm not seeing, but I think that midfield is not really clicking. And Matip really tried yesterday, but oh boy, when the match started, that Doku guy needs to the guy needs to calm down, because what he did to Arnold was really criminal. If Arnold didn't score a goal yesterday, it would have been one of the most awful performances for him in recent times. You know, he has had many, but like now wingers just want to have their chance with Arnold, and the guy was really cooking Arnold for a very, very long time throughout the whole game. Doku is really, really unbelievable. He didn't score a goal, but for me, he's the man of the match. For me, he was the difference between the two sides. Like, he was playing at his absolute best, like he has done most of the times this season. And it will be really hard for Jack Grealish to find his place back in the game. In the beginning of the match, first half, Manchester City was dominating, and I thought to myself, if they keep playing like this, they are going to win the game. After they score a goal, they were ahead. And really, we really need to start talking about Darwin Nunes. That's another player I've not been convinced about. I know commentators say a lot of good things about players, especially when you're watching EPL. The commentators, they just, I don't know if they used to watch another game, honestly, but the way they praise these players, you'll be surprised. Darwin Nunes for me is a shadow of the player he once was, because I saw this guy play when he was in Benfica. He could deceive defenders. He's very fast, but now he's like, when he's with the ball, he doesn't know what to do with the ball. It's just, and sometimes I wonder, how is this guy a football player? And I think his Benfica performance already answered me why he's a football player, because it was really, really fascinating. It was one of those strikers formidable, but right now he's not playing at his absolute best. He's like a shadow of the player he once was, and I don't know why he keeps playing, honestly. This match didn't really deliver for me. I think it was just stagnant. If draw was a little bit of a fair result, because Liverpool to kept themselves into the game. They allow Manchester City to have the ball. I don't think if you are playing against Manchester City, if you can win possession, so like just let them have the ball. We hit them on the counter, and they didn't really score on the counter. But at least at the end of the day, it was 1-1. So It was a fair game, but it didn't really deliver when it comes to excitement and entertainment. Now let's talk about a game that really delivered excitement and entertainment. Honestly, Chelsea fans, honestly, after watching the first half, I used to jot down, like I used to write stuff in my books, like things I want to talk about on my podcast. And I was already writing nice things about Chelsea, like, oh, okay. The first thing I wrote was Chelsea was finding their rhythm again. Sterling improving is going to be good for Chelsea long term. That's what I wrote down, honestly. Like, I was already feeling Chelsea okay after the first goal, even though their defense was slipping. I don't know how they missed Isak, like two or three players around Isak, but they still missed Isak, and Isak scored the first goal. And that free kick from Sterling, trying to, he was doing like that Roberto Carlos start up and shoot stuff, and it really worked. It was a television goal because Nick Pope could not move at all. He's going to break his back if he tried to save that ball, and it was very fascinating. I was like, okay, probably it's time to give Chelsea their flowers. They've actually been at least the last two games they won against Tottenham, even though people say that it's nine against nine men. Football is football. They won against Tottenham. They actually drew against Manchester City, which I think their fans are overjoyed about that draw, because it could come down. They are okay. Let's look at it from Tottenham game. People can say, "Oh, it's nine men. They played against nine men." Their second game against Manchester City. I don't know if you watch that game over and over again. The highlights. Luis Diaz is responsible for like two goals. He's literally responsible for two goals, the penalty and the mistake he did while defending Jackson, while sliding on the floor before the shot was fired and all of that Calaga shot. So they are like question mark around their performance, but they are getting the results. But now you don't want to play against Newcastle. It's already 1-1. Newcastle at home are formidable, but still, even though they should not be doing Chelsea dirty like that. Chelsea, as in, I don't know, the goals were just flowing in. The goals were just flowing in. Nice game for Gordon. He is that guy is really a top talent. I didn't really think the guy was like as good as he is. When I saw him in Everton colours and I was hearing the kind of price tag the guy had to his name, I was like, this guy is not the real shit. And it's actually fascinating to see how the guy is performing right now in Newcastle. Although that's the kind of team I like. No star player. Every one of them are just playing at their absolute best. When Bruno Guimaraes is there, he's always playing at his best. We talk about a player like Wilson, Isaac, Gordon, Amiron. Like, you just have players all over, and I think too much of it still comes down to Chelsea recruitment, because too much of young talent. These guys are people that like are players that if they are in a team like probably Madrid, Barca, probably a top team like Manchester City, they will actually perform. Imagine Enzo Fernandez playing the double pivot with Rodri. Do you know how good that is going to look like? But when you just put small players like, I think the oldest player aside Thiago Silva is Sterling, and Sterling is not even up to 39 yet. So just putting all that kind of young players just together, I don't think it's going to work. The second half, it was as if I was asking myself, am I watching another game? After the third goal, I'm like, am I watching another game? Like, Chelsea were in the game. First half, they were playing well. They were finding their rhythm again. I was this close to saying a lot of nice things about Chelsea, and they disappointed me at the end of the day. But that's football for you. If you snooze, you lose. That's the word. If you snooze, you lose. I think the two keepers are equal. They are always making blunders. They are always making mistakes. If Raya play, he will surely make like two mistakes. If Ramslade plays, he's going to make like two mistakes. I think at this point, Ateta should just be doing rock paper scissors with the both of them, because none of them is making any difference. The both of them are on par. When it comes to quality, when it comes to save, the both of them are on par for me. Like, I don't think Raya is better than Ramslade. I don't think Ramslade is better than Raya. So I think it's just what it is. I don't know why he bought Raya, because you actually have the same player, and I'm hearing Raya is better with his foot. That's why Ateta prefer him. I think I'm here to see that. And Brentford Arsenal, like I said, it was it was a bit boring. It was not that boring, but a bit boring. It was a little bit interesting too, because You are trying to see Brentford trying to score, Arsenal trying to score at the same time. Brentford play good. Arsenal just play better, and Arsenal a better team. And Declan Rice, oof, that that touchline clearance. Declan Rice proving his 150 million quality. I know no player is worth 150 million for real, but he's actually backing that price up. It's a good buy. The defense was really solid. Arsenal defense was really solid. Brentford will hardly play with a top team and not score. Even without Ivan Toney, they've been performing on top level this season. They've been playing so well. Calvert's later separated his suicide with that wonderful header. I think Arsenal fans people really need to give these guys flowers. A lot of criticism, even before the guy came into the game. A lot of criticism before the guy came into the team. I mean, a lot of criticism. Oh, why is Ateta buying Havertz? Why is he doing this? Why is he doing that? Honestly, I don't think Havertz helps his situation most of the time. But I think you shouldn't shoot your own player where he's down. He's already a Chelsea. He's already an Arsenal player. You guys should not just shoot your player when he's down. He's still trying to recover his career. He's a young, not really young, but he can still turn his career all around. He still have a lot of years ahead of him, and I think it's a good buy at the end of the day. What do you guys think about this video in the comment section below? And if you were Teta, which keeper are you going with? Raya or Ramslade? And why are you choosing this particular keeper? Please let me know in the comment section below. Ciao, guys. Thanks for watching 22 Podcast. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.